I want to just talk just a little bit about opportunity, right? Because in situations like this, that is something that everybody is aware of, and wants to know, how they can, we've heard is the mantra, turn the lemons into lemonade.
Yeah.
I want to just talk about lobbying efforts, just in the
Sure.
face of dentistry, right?
Yeah.
How much of an active role do you think owners and people now are going to have to take in that in order to kind of have things roll out in their favor? And I just say that to say we've seen other businesses, regardless of how we feel or how they're established as essential or not, be allowed to open with certain, concerns. Is that now something that you see owners and practices having to be more proactive, either in understanding or putting money towards?
Well, don't you think? I mean, we've got obviously the ADA, and then you have the various state associations, and if they're lobbying on people's behalf, I don't know how many people fully, how many providers support those groups heavily. But if you recognize, if we all make the argument, which I think anyone in dental will, is that you need oral health, solid oral care. If you have an unhealthy mouth, you're going to have an unhealthy systemic body here. So and we know that there's a lot of other illnesses and comorbidities that are tied to poor oral health.
Yeah.
So that lobbying effort needs to be clear that dental insurance is a lot of people don't have it, or the quality of the insurance they have is poor.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the time to really highlight how critical good oral health is to overall well-being, and therefore, I mean, there's even respiratory links to bad oral health. Like, this is exactly some of the problems here, and the dental community needs to speak up and be vocal about. This is essential. This is actually essential care. It's long-term essential care. Nobody gets better by putting off unnecessary dental treatment. It never gets better. It only gets worse, and you're impacting the entire body. And we want our systems to be as healthy as possible. So I do think lobbying and support, a single dentist maybe have a voice, but using the groups and the associations they're a part of, I think everyone needs to step up and really support the needs of the dental community.
Yeah, that's good. I want to switch a little bit to talk about the money, right? One of the things that I saw, I think it came out of Reuters, it was talking about the percentage of dental practices, and it was also an ADA link, I think, that had some information on that. It's talking about the percentage of dental practices that had applied for the PPP or the EIDL. What really stood out to me, though, there was an 18% that had not applied for either, just nothing. And just real simple, why? Why do you think that is?
I think they had so much money they didn't care. No, I think, but I think that goes back to the to-do list, right? If this is a time, that's, it's better to, ask and get no than to not have tried at all. And 18%, if you told me it was 5%, I'd actually take my answer as a possibility. But 18% tells me that, there were a number of people either uninformed or not proactive in taking steps forward there. It's some portion of that number. And so if you're not going to be, if you're on to support your employee base, support your own practice's well-being, why wouldn't you take what was a 3-minute form to fill out to at least move the ball forward there? And I think that does sort of, it's a bigger question in terms of back to, are you actually working on your business? Or what are you doing outside of just, being a, in the chair hands-on dentist? And I think it's time. So I think that should be for people who didn't apply. They should be at least thinking about those questions to themselves of what else could they be doing for their business, or should they be doing today?
Right, because the question is, it's about generating revenue from other sources and services.
For sure.
And I just to kind of, and I don't really want to use this as a plug opportunity, but just for us.
I'll plug it for you, because I think it's. I'll give the lead into that, right? Here, I'll help you out.
Right.
I mean, I certainly think if you have a practice and those, if you have 4 chairs and 3 of those chairs are sitting empty, or 2 of them are empty half the time, how else could you be more productive? What else could you be doing to add revenue to your practice? It falls within the scope of practice. And is it bringing on hygiene? Is it bringing in ortho? Is it bringing another specialty? Or is it adding something that which you can actually service, and something like treating sleep, where there's a true, again, a true need here that is largely better served, many would argue, by the dental community than by the medical community here. So, and I think that not enough people are aware of those opportunities. So
Yeah,
that
and
was my little lead in.
no, I mean, it is, it's one of the three pillars of health. You have diet, exercise, and sleep. The first two have kind of really been blitzed. Sleep has always been overlooked until now. But I mean, I literally get a link a day that's talking about the importance of your immune system, getting quality sleep. And like you said, our dentists get first crack at the oral cavity. They own it. They're the ones that are experts in it. And just even by doing simple screening in the office, and you're able to really tell and be able to help patients. For us, we have PCPs that are there to help in the diagnosis and make that happen. So we've seen a tremendous interest on our side for people that are wanting to add that, because it's something that they can do. We have no aerosols in our offices. We have multiple locations here in Southern California, and so even beyond that, the things that we're able to do with telemedicine just make it a real simple bolt-on.
Well, and I think that's the point, right? Right now is the time where, if you're thinking about what else could I do in my practice, is it
right?
Maybe I should be talking to David Howard. Maybe I should be talking to, maybe I should be talking to whether it's, I'm not doing Invisalign or some other form of oral, other there's lots of things that people could be talking about that they've considered, they've heard of, and they should at least be having a conversation and choosing to say no versus not having the conversation at all. That would, that would be my view, is just, it's a good time to get educated.
Yeah. I want to switch it up real quickly. Want to do some just more rapid fire quick things. Give me this fun part. Give me a word or phrase that you think needs to be eliminated from the DSO in space now, where we are. One word or a phrase.
Double-digit valuation. I think some large groups deserve it, but everybody around the corner does not deserve a double-digit EBITDA valuation. So multiple. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What's the most valuable tool for an emerging DSO that you think they need? Tool or service?
Other than a great guy who does acquisitions,
right.
I do think what I do think is, leave that role aside, is somebody who's really strong in integration. I think it's one thing to grow. If integration to me involves really somebody who keeps a culture and builds culture, and there's obviously some brands that have done that exceptionally well. And I think that is critical for the success of not just having a lot of dots on a map, but having those dots work together in harmony and have a true, underlying belief together. Right.
Okay. Where do you draw inspiration from?
A lot of sports, but watching a lot of sports, and but I do like, if you think about the world we're living in here now, and I won't quote it perfectly, but if I've probably seen The Martian. I watch a lot of movies. Sometimes I watch them over and over in the background while I'm working at night. Yeah. But at the very end of The Martian, and you got Matt Damon talking about, at some point everything's going to go south on you, and you make a decision: is this going to be the end, or you just start working on a problem one at a time, and you solve the next, and you solve the next. Yeah. There, eventually you get to go home. Here it's eventually you get to go back to the office. So I think it's every day, what step can you take forward or think about to improve yourself, improve your business. I think you just need to know that you're going to hit walls and get knocked down, and you just got to keep getting back up.
Yeah. Thank you for those three quick.
Oh, I'm going to hit you with all. I'm hitting you with all these
next time. Next time you're going to have me. Right.
We're turning the tables. Yeah.
I want to ask you about the story, right? And this is really just because we live in Los Angeles. Narrative is always the key with any DSO that you're bringing to market and helping through acquisition. Is there a particular technique that you use when you're crafting the story of a group or a DSO that helps put it in a position that's more favorable than others? How important do you think that is, and do you have a particular style of storytelling?
Well, I do think it has to be authentic. So you have to understand the character of the leadership of the company. That's number one. And how do you get that across? I think it's important to listen a lot before you try to spew out, spew that storyline out. Numbers are important, but there's always that bigger thing. And sometimes it's understanding the opportunities as well as the challenges in the business. Yeah. But I do think that if somebody's out there scaling a DSO or looking for capital investment, it's really important to put a bow on the story, and it's how you present the numbers, it's how prepared you are. I would say the most important thing where I've always focused my energy, or I saw the biggest weaknesses when I was on the buy side at either Western Dental or US HealthWorks, is groups that were underprepared, that hadn't done, excuse me.
More tea.
Lost my voice there, sorry. That was awkward. Anyway, so sorry everybody.
It was authentic.
It was very authentic. It's just groups that, if you're in due diligence, you want to be able to have an answer to a question immediately after you ask it. So somebody who's already answered the majority of questions before you ask them,
right,
confidence level goes up, and I think the valuations go up with it. And that's, I don't know why I choked on that statement. It should be one that it should be a highlight, but caught me at a moment there. Sorry.
That's because the passion cuts through, right?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's my third cup of coffee plus tea now. So.
No, that's really good. I want to kind of wrap us up here. I know we want to keep these short and sweet.
Sure.
So right now, we're in an interesting time, obviously, that everybody knows. Is there anything that you would want to leave in terms of, and I don't want to really say legacy, but just in terms of what it is that you want people to kind of understand about the DSO space where we are now? Because I look at, people that are in this, not only are they very diligent, they're very concerned, primarily with people, their teams, culture, and being able to provide oral health solutions really across the world. Like, this is why we do this. What would you say to a student, or maybe a resident that's just finishing, that's starting his first year, coming into this situation, into this new world as a dentist? What would you kind of leave to them, just to understand the people that have been here before them and what their kind of role or responsibility is coming after?
Well, I think what we're going to learn from this is that you have to expect the unexpected. I think dental's been able to move along. I mean, the growth of the DSO space and consolidation of practices has certainly changed that dynamic. But generally speaking, medicine or dental, just keep humming along, and you're providing a service day in and day out. A true business interruption like this, or something that was wildly unplanned and unprecedented, not likely to face too many of these. But what we're going to get out of this is, I think, hopefully it's a lot of thought leadership. We're going to see hopefully better lobbying effort to really better support the dental space, and an industry that I think will ultimately be stronger from this, because I think there's going to be that much more awareness about the importance of oral care, and the patient experience is going to become that much more impactful. I do think people are going to be leery to come back initially at some level, but I think that will change over time, and you just have to weather the storm here, and we'll look back upon this and go, that sucked pretty badly. I mean, there's no good way around it. This is terrible for everybody. But I hope that all the practices and the staff working them feel proud about the care that they've been giving, and really I don't know that people sometimes feel like they're just going to work, should take a lot of pride in what they're doing. And I think the medical community right now is getting all of that praise, and I think the dental community deserves a lot more for the work that the providers and staff do.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we're going to be pushing and celebrating in our upcoming The Tea with David and Michael for Group Dentistry, and having various guest colleagues and friends come on and really kind of talk about where they are. And we really want to bring some people that you may not know that are doing some extraordinary things in the space, that have a unique spin, and make it very conversational, and guys next door.
Yeah, and I'll hit you up with all the questions next time.
On the next time.
Yeah.
It'll be my turn. All right, Michael, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in to us. We have much more to come. Gonna make it clean and snazzy and do all that fun stuff. But we wanted to get this first one out. Well, talking to you all, seeing you all.
Yeah, very unpolished by me. I apologize for that. But it was great to see you and talk, and look forward to doing it again.
You too.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Take care.